Scarcely 100 years after its formation, the Ottomans had long been attempting to bring Wallachia under their sphere of influence, if not ultimate control. Simultaneously, the Ottoman Empire's staunch enemies over in Hungary were also attempting to subjugate Wallachia by installing their own puppets on the principality's throne. This caused Wallachia to be two things. One, a buffer zone between hardened adversaries, and two, in a constant state of turmoil and inconsistent leadership. Even during Mehmed's childhood, Wallachia was a place of trouble for Sultan Murad on multiple occasions. Distrust of its leader or voivode, at that time Vlad II Draculla, led Murad to summon his vassal's head and hold his two youngest sons as political hostages. These sons were Radu III and Vlad III Draculla, and both boys would from that point on grow up alongside the young Mehmed. Upon the later death of Vlad II and his eldest son Mircea II, the Ottomans knew that they would have to act quick to install a new voivode in Wallachia that would be loyal to their interests before the Hungarians could do the same. Despite Vlad III having been a rather nuisance in Ottoman custody, much to the contrary of Radu, Murad chose Vlad, the elder of the two, to replace their father. Vlad III's stint on the Wallachian throne would be short-lived for now, as his Hungarian-backed cousin, Vladislav II, would overthrow the teenager after a month. Wallachia was up for grabs again as the mid-15th century carried on. Eventually, in 1456, Vlad III would once more take the Wallachian throne, but this time with Hungarian support. Still, with Mehmed now at the helm of the Ottoman Empire, the idea of Vlad at least tolerating the Ottomans from the position of a vassal didn't seem too outlandish, considering these boys had not only been allies, but also childhood colleagues. Had it been Radu in Vlad's place, it can be assumed that such would have been the case. But Vlad had quite a different perspective from his brother. He hated the Ottomans. If any forgiveness had been left in his heart, it had all been used up on the Ottoman adversary John Hunyadi for his role in the death of Vlad's father. Mehmed, on the other hand, would get none. By the end of the 1450s, Wallachia had stopped paying tribute to the Sultan, and by 1462, the voivode had started a war with the Ottomans. Mehmed's success against Vlad III must have come much later than he had anticipated or hoped for, but in the end, it would come. After warfare that had pushed the Sultan and his men to the brink of retreat, finally, as summer came to an end, Radu was placed on the Wallachian throne in the place of his elder brother. Mehmed was rightfully confident that this son of Draculla would remain loyal. Thus, minus a short stint with Vlad III back at the head of the principality in 1476, and a whiplash of depositions and reinstatements alternating between Radu and another distant relative, Basarab Laiota, the Ottomans had locked down Wallachia and could move on to other expeditions once more. Shortly after his success in Wallachia, Mehmed the Conqueror proved his title's worth once more and conquered the Kingdom of Bosnia. An invasion led to a swift victory and the execution of Bosnia's king, as the Sultan proved that his expansion could stretch west as well as to the east of the Balkan region. So too would be the coming war with the Venetians. In 1463, small-scale skirmishes between Ottomans and Venetians led to an all-out war, as the Venetians and their Hungarian ally Matthias Corvinus, son of John Hunyadi, invaded Ottoman Morea and Bosnia. 3 years into the war, Mehmed would come face to face with the celebrated Skanderbeg of Albania, yet another former political hostage of the Ottoman Empire. Disease would soon assist the Ottomans to victory over the Albanians, and the war would last a total of 15 years, until Mehmed finally bested his opponents and won peace at the Treaty of Constantinople, weakening the Venetians and requiring a yearly tribute to the Ottomans for trading rights in the Black Sea. The Sultan, the Conqueror, had done it again, and he wasn't done. The Ottomans had by now stretched their power over to Anatolia and established Moldavia as a vassal, at least for a short time. Peter III Aaron of Moldavia had been one of the first rulers of the principality to agree to a yearly tribute to the Ottoman Empire, but his successor, Stefan III, was in general opposition to such a concept for much of his life. This led, predictably, to military conflict between the Ottomans and the new voivode of Moldavia, a war that would see Mehmed take similar and shocking hits as he had back in Wallachia. This time, however, he found no clear triumph and would eventually withdraw from the region as Stefan remained a violent nuisance for the years to come. As infuriating as this may have been for Mehmed, it was no matter in the bigger picture. The Ottoman Empire had grown immensely thanks to the efforts of the gutsy Sultan and stretched both to the east and west. Failure is far from a word that comes to mind when Mehmed the Conqueror is the topic of discussion. And with his ambitions having no bounds, the Sultan refused to stop after the incident in Moldavia. Now, he looked instead to Italy. It is widely believed that Mehmed's aims in Italy reached all the way to Rome, a fear that even the Pope and Rome's citizens shared. When Otranto fell to an Ottoman invading force, the Romans held their breaths, preparing to evacuate as the worst possible scenario drew near. That is, of course, until Sultan Mehmed II, the great conqueror of Anatolia and the Balkans, died on May 3rd, 1481. His dreams of conquering Italy had ended abruptly with his own life. How he died, however, remains a mystery. It is believed that the Sultan had fallen ill a few days prior to his passing, but some historians have posited that the cause may have been more sinister than an innocent disease. Murder by poison remains a highly suspected theory. Nevertheless, whatever the cause may have been, the glorious Sultan was no more. But behind him was left a legacy of power, wisdom, and culture. Still known today as the Conqueror, Mehmed II lived a life of massive accomplishment and ensured that both at home and around the world, he would never be forgotten.